What's up guys, name is Dre and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. In today's video we want to do a bow comparison between three different bows that I own. We have the Viridescent Hunt, level 90, Rust and Stringless, also level 90. So of course I do know that there are a lot of other options for bows that you can use, but I wanted to work with a fair comparison with bows that I own. So other bows that I do think are really good that I won't talk about in this video are the Favonius Warbow, but I cannot put out a fair comparison for this because this is always refinement rank 3 already. Then we have the prototype Crescent, which I have footage for at the end of the video, but it is also not a fair comparison because it is footage from my friend, but so you can see some additional damage numbers for the prototype Crescent. I think this is like the best DPS wise weapon for her if we are only talk about 4-star weapons. And if you have no prototypes, I think the Blackcliff Warbow, so the weapon that is currently in the shop, is also a very good option for her. So this one. Then I think the the sacrificial bow is a very good option if you want to go like for more the route to use your E more often. But this one is good if you want to ult more often. Yeah. So for today's video, I only want to use a 2-piece Blizzard Slayer, 2-piece Gladiators final set at +0. So we can show like the subsets real quick, but I don't think that they do really matter since this set is +0. So all the pieces are +0. For the goblet, I still want to work with a cryo damage bonus, which is also +0. I just want to show like that you can do damage even with a very low invested artifact set. So imagine you have like similar pieces with not too good subsets, but I think a lot of people can afford, especially free-to-play players, can afford 2-piece Blizzard Slayer, 2-piece Gladiator. It is a bit harder to get a full Blizzard Slayer set. I want to showcase this set in a later video, but I think 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Blizzard Slayer is achievable for everybody. And yeah, I want to show you a +0 set so you can see like, or can expect similar damage numbers when you have a bad artifact set and your bow is leveled up to its max potential. Constellation 0 and all the talents are level 6. I also think talent level 6 should be achievable for everybody. The most important thing is I think the normal attack. I think there won't be too big differences between the E and the ultimate. Of course, I still want to show these abilities with the bows, but the most difference should be in the normal attack. So we want to go over this and explain it real quick, and then we hop into some gameplay and show it off against the Ruin Guard as always. Now we have the aim shot charged level 1, so the charged level 1. Then we have the Frostflake arrow damage. This is actually the damage that is from the charged level 2. And the highest multiplier is from the Frostflake arrow bloom damage. So I just want to show you this like real quick against, let's say, a wall. So this is charged level 1. Yeah, this is charged. Okay, this was charged level 2 already. Now, this is charged level 1, charged level 1, charged level 1. So charged level 1 has the multiplier of 174%. The Frostflake arrow damage has 179%. So if I hold it a bit longer, you just can see it. This is charged level 2. So the first hit, you can see that there is like the first hit and then it blooms and goes into 3 different hits. So the first hit, the hit that starts on top, this is the 179%. And the 300% are coming from the bloom. So always, if I do a charged level 2 attack, so I will only work with charged level 2 attacks in this video, not with charged level 1, because usually you won't use this in normal combat, then there will pop out 2 numbers. The number above is always the Frostflake arrow damage, and the number underneath that is always the Frostflake bloom damage. So let's start right off with the Stringless and see the stats we have at level 80. Max HP is 10,200, attack is 1080, 682 defense, and 224 elemental mastery. So yeah, I mainly wanted to work with a level 80 because I also do think this is more achievable than level 90. Actually, I have the materials to put her up to level 90, but for the content of this week, I will keep her at level 80 and start leveling her up at level 90 next week, because I think this is like the time when most of the players could have her at level 80 already. Level 90 already, sorry. Okay, as I mentioned, I want to test it against the Ruin God, because Ruin God has a lot of life and he doesn't move too much. So yeah, you can see 2000 on crit. Frostflake arrow damage. As I said, number above, Frostflake arrow damage. Number underneath is the bloom damage. And the bloom damage does much more damage than the other one. So sometimes the number above does more damage just because it crits and my bloom damage didn't crit. But the bloom damage can crit, so we want to show the damage when the bloom damage crits. So usually I think it's very easy to say I have 10% crit rate and like round about 100% crit damage. So usually I do 1000 on a Frostflake arrow damage, 2000 on a crit, and 1700 on the Frostflake bloom damage if it doesn't crit. So we want to do this until the Frostflake bloom crits. Okay, 3500, so it's just like 1700 times 2. Yeah, so that's like the damage. I do crit way more often on the Frostflake arrow, so I did crit on both. So imagine you crit on both, you have like 5000 damage. That's the very nice thing on Ganyu. Both stances can crit. So the Frostflake arrow and the Frostflake bloom can crit. You can see the damage numbers when it crits. It is round about 3500. So let's get in and throw in a E ability. 2577. Now he should attack the flower. And as soon as it gets destroyed, it does 1290 when it doesn't crit. So let's do this all over again. 1290 is the damage. So if it gets destroyed and it crits, it should do around about 2500. Again, let's see how much the shards do per hit. It is like roundabouts, yeah, it is very consistently 786. 2372 on a crit, so there was one crit hit. So because we work with the Stringless, this is an exception. So this one has elemental mastery, so I do lose a lot on crit rate and attack percentage. I want to do one elemental reaction, so I want to show the melt damage. So I only want to do this for Stringless because Stringless has elemental mastery and it actually wants you to work with elemental reactions when you have so much elemental mastery. Okay, so I just want to show off the melt damage again. You just saw the crit 2500. Now let's neutralize this. Okay, now he only has fire. So I want to do it fair. Only do one hit, so we apply fire, swap to Ganyu and hit him. 2000. Let's do this again. So he has melt already. Apply fire one more time. Yeah, it's 2000, so it's double the amount because we have crit damage when we have melt. Let's do this again. Apply fire. Use Ganyu. Try to hit the weak point this time. 4000, 7000 with the melt damage. Alright, so we want to use this Ruin God again, so let's get and swap the weapon. Okay, for the next weapon I want to use Rust. So Rust is the one that comes closest to the prototype Crescent in terms of stats, but not for the passive. So the passive does increase her normal attack by 40%, but this one is huge and actually not too good. But if you do not have any other options and not prototypes, you have no starters, glitter, I think this is an option that you can at least use. You will lose a lot on your Frostflake arrow, which is actually her strongest ability, but you still can use her abilities quite well and they will do damage. Now, you lose 10% on charged attacks. Stat-wise, she's now at 1400 attacks, so she only gains more attack, and we sacrifice the elemental mastery from this Stringless. Other than that, it should stay around the same 10% crit rate, 99.8% crit damage. So let's see how much damage she will do with the Frostflake arrow and with her abilities. Okay, so let's start right off with the charged attack. We have 1200, 2300. Yeah, so you can see it still does quite a lot of damage because we get so much attack. 2000 of crit. So it is a bit more than the Stringless in terms of the charged shot. 4200 on a crit. So that's because we have so much base attack and base attack stats. But if you want to work a lot with the charged shot, then this one is already better than the Stringless. Ability does 2400, so this is also 200 damage more than the Stringless. Okay, let's try to put it out as much as we can so we can use it on a crit. So this is round about 200 to 300 damage more, but if we quit it is doubled. So 2500 on crit, 4000 on the bloom damage. Also, you do not have to hit this guy. Let's put in an E ability. Hopefully this crits. Okay. Now we have to try to get a crit. So you can see the crit damage. Okay, it was 2800. 2800. It was the damage from the bloom. Yeah, it is actually the double amount. Now let's use ultimate. You can see the shards. They do 750. It is also more than with Stringless. $1,500 on the crit with the ultimate. Okay, so let's get away and use the Viridescent Hunt. Alright, so with the Viridescent Hunt we have the exact same stats like with the Stringless, except for the fact that we lose on the Elemental Mastery, but we gain a lot more crit rate, so we have 38% crit rate right now. The big thing on the Viridescent Hunt is its passive, so upon a normal and aimed shot, we have a 50% chance to generate a cyclone. So this is like mini Venti or mini Sucrose, if we can say it like that, which will continuously surrounding opponents, dealing 40% of attack as damage to these opponents every 0.5 seconds for 4 seconds. So we have to consider that this will increase our damage a bit. Alright, so let's start off 2000 and 3500. So yeah, we do crit way more often now, so you will see bigger numbers. That actually does count, but just from the raw damage, Rust is the winner in terms of raw damage. Yeah. I think that's like already enough, so the damage when it does not crit is very similar to Stringless, and if it crits it is also very similar, I would say. So nothing too crazy about that Viridescent Hunt. Because we are fighting against the Ruin God, you can see the Cyclone here. It doesn't affect this one too much, I think. So yeah, I was missing out on that when I explained it. Okay, let's go and throw in the E. 1000 damage, so it should do 2000 when it crits. Okay, 2153 on a crit, so I said around about 2000. Let's use the ultimate and see how much it does. Yeah, 1146 on a crit and 570. So this is the lowest ability damage that we can have, but it does crit way more often. Alright guys, so I have some more additional footage that I will put now on this part of the video. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Chopper, who was able to leveling up a prototype Crescent on day 1 of Ganyu to give me some footage for that. So much thanks to him. And after this, I want to give like a short conclusion. Alright guys, you just saw the damage numbers from the prototype Crescent. Of course, this is out of the comparison because he has much different artifact sets than mine, and his prototype Crescent is only level 80. Also, he did some refinements. I just want to put the footage in to give you some like additional numbers for prototype Crescent, because I think this is one of the most achievable and the best weapon if you want to go for her as a DPS character. Yeah, but in today's video, I said I don't want to talk about her roles. But what I want to talk about now to end the video and to summarize everything is that I don't want to say like this bow is the best bow, because it really depends on what you want your Ganyu to be and what you want her to fit in your team, like which roles she should go for. And the roles that she can have, she's very easy to use and as well as very versatile. So she can fit in any role, and main DPS, sub DPS, support. I think this is a character that can fit in all the roles that you want to. And yeah, depending on that, I think it does make your weapon choice. So Ganyu can use a lot of different weapons, and all her weapons are very strong. But it doesn't really own, the damage doesn't really matter at all if you want to put her like a support and just want to work with the crowd control and her cryo ability. So just because you saw a bigger damage number from Rust, it doesn't mean that this is automatically the better bow than Stringless, because it really depends how you use it at the end. I just want to put out like the bow comparison to show you guys some different numbers, so you can decide for yourself which bow you want to use. So to give a short explanation for the bows, I do think that Stringless is very good if you want to work like more with her abilities and you want to work with elemental reactions. But it does sacrifice a lot of her Frost Flake arrow damage in comparison to those two bows. So this has like similar damage than the Stringless, but it does crit way more often. So you have way more consistent damage. In addition to that, you can add this passive, which I didn't show against Hilichurls. I don't think that it didn't really matter. But against Hilichurls, I think this one can be very useful. I don't think it is the best choice because I would use actually another character to group. But it would be a very strong alternative if you do not have another character that you want to group with. So Viridescent Hunt is a very good option. Rust in this video was actually like a worse version of the prototype Crescent, because prototype Crescent has the exact same stats but a much better passive for Ganyu. Ganyu doesn't do damage with auto attacks. You never use auto attacks on her usually because he works with a Frost Flake arrow damage, and this one takes a lot of time. It takes at least 2 seconds to charge, and in this time you cannot use auto attacks. So take this as a worse version of the prototype Crescent. if you do not have any other weapon, you just can use your Rust at least for now. But I think even if it was the weapon in this video that does the most damage, I wouldn't go for Rust, because I think you can take much more, can give her much more potential, or enable much more potential, by using the prototype Crescent instead. Yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. Unfortunately, I don't have Blackcliff Warbow, Favonius Warbow in today's video included, as well as the Sacrificial Bow. But I hope I still could help you out with some bow choices, especially with those rogue bow choices, because I think these are like the 3 bows that doesn't come to your mind when you think about Ganyu for 4-star bows. Of course, Amos bow, Skyward Hope are exceptional options, but in today's video I wanted to focus more on 4-star weapons. Yeah, if you guys did enjoy today's video, like, comment, and subscribe. It would help me out a lot, and I'll see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more Genshin Impact content, videos should pop up on the screen right now. Make sure to check them out, and I thank you for your support.